Hi! Happy Sunday! If the music goes away, I must be coming. Yeah, I turn it about. Yeah, I have it about halfway between, around 50, whatever, for the opening. I'd love to run it like that all the time because I can hear it. But I know from past experiences, if I have it that loud, people will say, I can't hear you. I'm, I have a little mixer thing. Of course, the bar bounces as I talk. And I just don't have that loud a voice. I have it set to 100. The mic is right here. I shouldn't have to shout. So anyway, we got head bopping lo-fi going today. Eventually, Pretzel's going to start sending the name of the song in there because I decided not to pay their yearly fee anymore. I did it for a year or two. Sort of. First year because it was a special, second year because I didn't catch it quick enough, which is, what they count on. Everybody that does that counts on that. So I gave them their year for that and caught it this time ahead of time. Well, I have had a very interesting day. Yesterday didn't do anything. I mean, hardly nothing. It was wonderful. And today I did I messed my room up again. I did go through a whole bunch of bags of fiber. All of it died, except for one that I am going to die. So when been working upstairs in the room, I'm going through boxes and I find this fiber that has been washed and stored up there for quite a few years. And some of it I had already died. Some of it I started processing. And, it's just chaotic because of doing the podcast for so many years. I would do something for that podcast and talk about it and whatever, and then not go back to it, right? And I was continually getting more and more fiber coming in as I was actively going to fiber fairs, actively buying fleeces, processing, dyeing, doing all of this stuff. And I just have accumulated a lot of things that need to be spun and done. I should name my year this year, Spun and Done. Yeah, the year of Spun and Done. I'm going to put that underneath me on my thing when I go to the other camera. The year of Spun and Done. I may never change that for the whole year of streaming. And I'm going to talk a whole bunch about that. But you can see some of it behind me, and there's going to be some things that I talk about today that result from that. And there's just going to be a lot of interesting things to spin. But the thing I wanted to get done was what I was doing on the Aura. And that was a big ball of fiber that was a green-brown, multicolored from Woolly Knob. And I decided to apply that with even bigger balls of a silver gray. And I got that done. I got it all applied. I put the Aura up. That's where I'm going with all this. I am going to spin on the Roberta for a while. So, I have that ready to go. But we're going to talk about a couple different things here first. And then I'll get to spinning later on. I'll show my yarn after we get a few more viewers. Right now, I'm still waiting for people to grab their cup of coffee and join me, I think. Well, I can talk about yesterday. The one thing I did do was I started a Valentine cross stitch on perforated paper. That was one of my goals for this weekend, was to get hopefully 3 of them made. And I started with one that I wanted to do for my daughter. Shh, don't tell her. She never watches this. And it's got sheep on it, and the sheep are white, and I didn't want to do it on the white perforated paper. I didn't think it would show very well because it doesn't do a background. So I did it on black, and I did it during the day, but let me tell you, between the tiny holes, which is 14, right? It's like 14 Aida cloth, except it's paper, stiff paper. Between that tiny and deciding whether to use the 3 strands like they said, and I didn't think it was covering well enough, but I didn't want to go to the 6, so I didn't change it. I stuck with the 3, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure I like the way it's turning out. And it's, of course, uncharted, and it's counted cross stitch. I haven't done that forever. It's tiny, it's small, it's not going to be a major project. I should be able to finish it this week along with the others if I focus on it. But, I was like, first I had to pull out the floss. And I talked about that Friday. I spent a whole bunch of time Friday sorting through my flosses and getting them organized by color, and I'm real happy with that. But then I had pinks and greens and black pulled out, and white pulled out to do, and realized that it didn't call for black. It called for 2 different grays. And I'm like, well, okay, so I get my thing back out and get my 2 different grays. I mean, it was just that way. I got going. I didn't like the needle I was using, and I just took the entire design and cut out a square of the perforated paper that will be a little bit bigger than that, because I'll trace around it and cut the design off when I'm done. And then I had to figure out where to start. It's working, but I'm not 100% sure I like it. I am going to show it Wednesday on the stream. So, anyway. Or maybe the second one I make, not the one I'm sending my daughter, just in case she does look. So yesterday I messed around with that for a little bit, but I watched the Olympics. The Olympics are on NBC, and they're not running it all the time. They have periodic times that they show, periodic things they show over the day, and I am recording those. But USA Station on our system is showing it nonstop, 24 hours. You can turn that on and watch the Olympics anytime. And that was the first I had realized that, and I really did sit yesterday and watch a whole bunch of Olympic events and enjoyed it. I did not get to watch any today. I would have had to go into the bedroom to watch, because hubby got the TV first, and he is watching a marathon where they're going back to back to back to back on a series called Scorpion, and he loves this show, and so he's doing his binge watching today on the living room TV, and I was all right with that. I have plenty of other time probably, but I did discover with the Olympic watching, I can't watch as much as I think I'm gonna, because it just is very time consuming. It is not like you can plan that you're going to watch something over 4 hours in the evening. Maybe it don't work that way. Each segment's an hour, and there's just hours and hours and hours of it. So I'll get what I can, and I really enjoy it. I really get into it. It isn't just rooting for USA. It's the, oh, why did that have to happen to that person, or, oh, that was such a good thing. That was a great ski jump. I was watching women do the ski jump, and they give their age. You can't see their face. They're helmeted down to, you see their mouth. Okay, that's all you see. And I swear, everyone that got up there, I looked at that and I thought, she's a baby. And they say, oh, this is her third Olympic. She's 28. Didn't look it, right? She looked like that mouth area must be the last age to age. Now, I'm not going to compare to me because I know my face is aged. I know my aging and all that. But I was just like astounded by how young they looked. And that is not why everybody watches the Olympics, is it? Right? But I did enjoy seeing how far they can go, uh, the height they are. I mean, they're fearless. They're fearless. And I had no calling to ever do anything fearless, let me tell you. But I can enjoy it as a TV show. I'm glad somebody is, and I'm glad they're being rewarded for all their years and years of work. They tell the human interest stories of people who have worked and worked and worked and get there, and of course have to leave because they have test positive for COVID. And I was like, oh man, all those years of work. And that's how it ends. All right, they're really pushing the mental health issue this year too, because a lot of the athletes are starting to acknowledge the stress and pressure and how that affects them mentally, and the depression of defeat, and that sort of thing. And they're being more open about that. Some of the athletes are advocates for it, and I think that's great. It's perfectly wonderful that they're doing that. So yesterday I sat and watched like a bump on a log, and I meant to do some crocheting on my jacket, and I just never got around to it. I always just, it's so cold. It is so hard to do anything other than in this room where I can close the door. It's such a small room. The furnace warms it up, but the furnace trying to warm up the rest of the house just isn't working. And sometimes I have the cat on my lap. I can't do anything when he's on my lap. Yeah, I know. It'll be over soon. It's gonna be over soon. I'm just so tired of it. I am so ready to not wear 3 layers of clothes. I'm just so tired of it. Okay, let's talk some fiber things. I actually have a teaching moment, and I'm going to write down here where I'm at. I'm right around 15 minutes in, according to my little thing, because I want to highlight it. Because I had a learning experience this morning, although it's something I know. If you do as much as I do, fiber-wise, day after day after day, you run into the same thing over and over. I mean, you run into the same thing multiple times. And either I forget, or it just doesn't hit me the same way, or something. So, yep, 15, 20, thereabouts. Okay, we're going to start the change cameras. And I have set up here, on my table, some fiber. And I was working on this morning because this fiber right here is from a bag that I found upstairs. It was one of those projects that I did and then talked about on a podcast years and years and years ago. And after I spun a little bit of it and talked about that, I just never went back to finish it up. Most of it is in this format. And there was just like this much plus waste left. And I thought, I'll just grab my combs, my handheld combs, and just comb up the rest. So let me tell you about the fiber. The gray that you see came like this. It's a roving. I didn't process this. I bought this. I believe it's Lincoln. Okay? I didn't have it marked in the bag. It's been too long ago. But I know that I bought Lincoln from we called it Sheep Throw Group on, it used to be on AOL, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, it was a group of a fiber that would chat and talk and all that. So I know she raised Lincolns, and I know I bought Lincolns. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is. And it came in this mill processed roving, it's not top, but roving format. And then I had this, which is puffed up Angora that I had dyed with different colors. And I took the purple that I had dyed some purple, and I took that and I was blending these two together. And I thought, well, I'll just get my combs, okay, and take what's left and blend up what's left, and I'll just mix it with this. So I did that. And if I take away all of this, which is the starting thing, you can't hardly see it, but if you see there's a little bit of darkness to this, that's that purple Angora. Now, if you see here, you can see the purple Angora beautifully, right? It didn't comb away and get blended into it so much that when I pulled the top off, you don't even see the Angora anymore. It's in there, but you don't really see it like you do with this. And the first one I did, I was like, okay, this isn't the same thing. What's going on? This isn't the same thing. And yet I know I made this blend. I know I took the gray and the purple and pulled this off as top. So the next thing I thought was, well, maybe I used my big combs. But the truth was, the more I worked with it, the more I realized what I had done was use a hackle. And this is a hackle right here. Looks like a lethal weapon. Now, this is two-tined. There's 2 rows of teeth. And these are two-tined. There's 2 rows of teeth. Same thing, right? Obviously not. Because, as you can see, when I pulled top off my combs, I got this right here. And when I loaded this, and that's what you do. You take your fiber and you go down and load it, and you put more on top and more on top. This is clamped. I didn't bring the clamps, but you clamp this to a table on the edge. Well, go to the edge, yes. Let's say this is clamped and all the way to the edge. Load it all up, and then take one of these combs and just comb through it, right? All you're doing is straightening the fiber, and while it's clamped, you pull off. And usually you start like here and you go across and down, across, down, right? So 2 things had to have happened to get this. One, I would have had a whole bunch more Angora than I had left over and to mix with this, right? And 2, I didn't comb it very much. I put it on there, straightened it out a little bit, and just started pulling top. And that's why I got this better blend, where it's streaky, right? You can see the streaks of purple Angora. So if you're interested in home processing your things, it's not all equal. You have to think about the look that you're going for in the final product. And combing with hand combs will blend it way more than a hackle. They do call these blending hackles for that reason. All right. And I totally forgot that I had done this with a hackle until I saw the difference when I was finishing up this little bit that's left. So what am I going to do? Well, I am going to spin all of this and stick these few in every now and then and kind of blend them in right into the yarn itself. I'm going to put this hackle up so that I don't stab myself, hopefully. And I want to keep this. Is that? Whoa! Darn! I knocked you guys all away. Well, there we go. Sorry about that. All right. So this is one of these big Ziploc heavy-duty bags, and I'm pretty sure I have. Oh, those are little bits. 1, 2. See, I have 4 balls, so I'll divide the other 2 up. I'll weigh them, divide them by weight, and spin a 2-ply. Now, I'm not going to spin this today, but I did want to show the difference between working with a hackle and working with a comb, whether it's a big handheld one or a clamp one. And obviously these are different because like this one has way more angora in it than the others, and that's going to be determined by how much I had put on the hackle. So that's your lesson for today. There'll be no test, and there will be a highlight in case somebody wants to take a look at that again. So I have stacks of stuff right there behind my chair. I'm going to show you next yarns I've been working on. That's a nice photo opportunity. Hi, KB. It will make a difference how I spin it, and I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be able to be worsted. I think it's going to have to be woolen, which will be a pretty long and open draft, just because of the nature of the fiber. So this was all from a mill that I've been talking about called Woolly Knob, and they came in these balls of fiber that I bought at different times at different fiber fairs. This one here, they're all from his sheep, and they're either natural or dyed. This one here is a dyed. I think, it's a Ramondale. Now that I have felt it, it's the softest of what he has, and Ramondale I'm pretty sure he has a Ramondale. So I'm really glad I kept that brown separate. I originally was going to ply it with this, which would have been pretty, but I'm glad I didn't. I found instead that light gray that I was spinning on Friday, and I did get the Maldi both plied. These are 2-yard skeins. I have 140 yards in this, and I have 108 yards in the one that I just counted off before stream. I like them. They're very barber pole, of course, but with the right project, I think that's going to be really pretty. They remind me of cobblestones. I don't know what I'm going to find to make, but they're not exactly next to the skin soft, so I don't really think a scarf would be, even though I think it would be pretty, that even just basic garter stitch with the texture of the bumps and the texture of the color of skein is going to be really pretty. But I don't think I want it for something that's next to skin. I don't know that I have enough for a shawl, but I might be able to combine it with something else. I'm always unsure what I'm going to do with it. But I like the way it goes even though when I look at it, it's really, really subtly all brown looking. When I look at it on camera, I can see the greens in there that were what I bought it for. I bought it because it looked green when I bought it. And then as I was spinning it, I was just getting all this different variants of brown and orange browns. But it's there. So I like these. I'm going to have to wash them. They haven't been washed yet. That's the end of show and tell. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I made a list. Of course, I made a list. I always make a list. I made a list of projects out of all those bags that I pulled from upstairs and everything, I made a list of what I want to do with the fibers. I got things together. The list is what do I got to do next, right? And most of it, a lot of it needs picked open. One needs dyed, and some of them need carded on my drum carder, and some need combed. And some I are still there. Instead of picking them open, there's still locks there even after being dyed. I'm gonna try and see how good I can pull out locks. Just comb the locks and spin those, and do that, gradually as I go along with that fiber. Not necessarily mass produce the processing, but do it a little bit at a time. We'll see. But I have Shetland and Corriedale, Cormo, and that's it. I think those are the main ones. I have several different formats of Shetland, 2 different Corriedales. These are the kind of fleeces I can get when I go to the fiber fairs. Those are what I can usually buy. So anyway, this is one that is partially processed. It's lime green. It's lime green. It looks like limeade. It really does. It's got a llama. It has a lock in it of alpaca. Oops. And this is what it looks like before. So I thought I'd do a little bit of combing. I only have this much to do, which doesn't look like a lot, but when you're hand combing, it takes a while. So this will be a multiple process, or I'll do it off stream, but I thought I'd start and do a little bit of combing. And then go do some spinning. This was a Shetland ram that I bought. White. It hit the dye pots. And yeah, it needs picked open. I don't know if I really want to pick and then comb, or pick it all and then comb. Because I'm going to put some of it away. It's kind of in my way here. I'm going to put some away. Let me give it a estimated handful to take care of here. Let's work with that. See if I can do that. It's nice. It's really nice. It's actually pretty soft for being a ram. It's kind of surprisingly soft. I have been considering whether I want to get bigger combs that are handheld, not clamped. Because these really don't do much at all, but they do a really good job. They make very nice top, as long as the fiber is decent. And they sure are a nice size to hold. Probably am not in the camera. I think I'm going to switch the camera over a little bit this way. I should put it more in there. These are manufactured by Fourth Sight. That's the name of it. And when the fiber does what it's doing, which is just basically disappears off of the one comb, except for the what is garbage. I mean, you don't want that in your top anyway. It has all the little nubbly bits. When it does that, that fiber is really ready and really good for top. And then of course you just pull it off. I love making top. I love spinning top even more. Oh my gosh. That's like eating royal chocolate. So you get that much. And yeah, there's a lot of waste. At this point in time, I am not stressing about waste. Spun and done. Oh yeah, I was going to put that. I set the hackle right on top of my mouse cord. That was like, I can't, like why won't my mouse move? All right, so we are naming this year 2022, year of spun and done. Make it a little bigger. There we go. Hopefully, I don't know if you might have to refresh to see it, but it's going to be there again. Don't worry. I think I'm not going to bother changing the title this year. It's my goal. Spun and done as much as possible. So I call all these my spun and done projects. That's what I'll call them. This is soft. I'm a fiberholic, I'll tell you. Tactile. I just love the way it feels. One thing about the house being so cold and this being the only room I can really warm up good, except for I can be warm upstairs too, but to be down here, by it being set up with all my spinning wheels and everything, I really am getting a lot done. Put too much on it. I loaded too much on here. That's the other thing about this size combs. I have a tendency to overload them. But I have cabin fever so bad. I went out this morning because we get the Sunday paper and it's at the end of the lane. And we had not cleaned the car off since the ice storm went through. I kept thinking the sun would do it, but you know, I knew I wanted to drive up to get the paper. I did not want to walk the lane. It was about 15 degrees out. So I went out, started the car, and started sweeping snow off the car first, and then got down to the ice, and the back window and all the side windows were fine. I mean, they just had a light coating of ice that scraped off real easy. And the back window has a defroster. But then the front window, it's, car windows on these cars are kind of slanted, and it goes right down to the windshield wiper well, where the windshield wipers go down into. That was ice, a solid couple inches in that well, freezing the windshield wipers in there. And on top of that, everything had drained, so sitting on top of that, then going up the windshield was about an inch of ice. But by the halfway up the windshield, then there was that skim of ice. It's like it had all gone down and filled up that one area. So I just let it warm up really good, and kept poking at it with the scraper end of the snow brush. And boy, I tell you, it cleared off. I drove up there, and the roads are fine. They're totally clear. My lane, even at the top of the lane, is all clear. There's no ice, but there was snow on the main lane. But the part that goes out onto the street, which sometimes, if there's a lot of snow, the snow plows will go by and plow me in. There's a drift there, but that didn't happen. I didn't have to worry about that. And the mailbox is just across the street anyway. The only reason I had to go out on the street was to turn the car around, so I'd come back. Anyway, I did this about 8:30 this morning, and it was cold. It was cold. But now our car's all cleared off. I know the roads are fine, and I'm pretty sure we'll be going into town tomorrow just to do something. Get out of the house. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite happy that I don't have to get out and go to work. Very, very, very happy. But, KB, you still there? When do you start your job? Your yarn store job? That is so cool. I don't have a yarn store near me, only the big box. They went out of business. There's been a number over the 30 years I've lived around here, and they could never stay in business. If you pull too close to the teeth, try to force more off than it really wants to let go, you end up getting the nippy things, the little nips. You end up getting the garbage in your top, which you don't want. You don't want that in your top. I know one thing I've been wanting to do is go to a movie. Maybe we'll go into town and go to a movie tomorrow. That'd be fun. Hubby may need to get groceries for his brother. we have snow on the lane, like I said, and one thing I was noticing as I was driving back, I didn't notice as much driving up, but because the windshield was still a little wet, I was still waiting for it to completely clear out. And I was noticing there were a lot of animal tracks in the snow. I like looking at that kind of thing. And what was really cute was, okay, so when we drive on the lane, the two sides of the tires wears down, and you get this little center part, right? And during the summer, grass will grow there. We periodically we have to mow it down or whatever, but in the winter, everything's covered with snow. It was covered with snow, and there were tracks, and they all followed down the center, right? They didn't go on the either side because I think that's where there was a lot of water, and they knew that the higher little hump in the middle of the lane was drier. And I saw rabbit tracks. I saw, I think, raccoon tracks. I know I saw dog tracks because neighbor's dog probably came down to check things out. You know, the cat tracks were all around the back door. Newman didn't go too far, evidently, but and I couldn't see birds on the driveway, but I could at the back door. You see these little tiny bird feet hopping around. You know, they're obviously hopping around on the snow. Didn't see any deer tracks. We have deer. Some about 2 weeks ago, before there was any snow. I don't know where they go when there's snow. They may go higher up in the hills. I'm not real sure where they go. So I didn't see any deer tracks. One time, long time ago, I went out and there were horse tracks in the snow. I thought that was kind of wild. That was one of the neighbor's horses had evidently, either the neighbor rode down with the horse, or I've never seen the neighbor ride his horses. He has horses in a corral. This is right across the street from us, you know, in fencing. I have a feeling one of them got out. I just didn't know it. It happened when I wasn't looking out the window or whatever. Ooh, I need a drink. Oh, it tastes good. I made myself homemade pizza on a, not pizza, but where I took garlic bread. This was a big loaf that I bought. It's not the normal skinny size loaf. This was a bakery loaf. So it was nice big slices. Put pizza sauce on there and a couple pieces of pepperoni and mozzarella cheese. Put it in the toaster oven, and that was my lunch. And it tasted really good. That almost got me. I am serious. When you work with these combs, you really got to pay attention. These poofs always remind me of troll hairs. I suppose I could find, I'm sure there's crochet patterns for the trolls. Some kind of troll. Ouch. Alright, put your keyboard in. You don't need it out anymore. I just banged the back of my hand on the keyboard holder tray. Got static. The fiber won't leave my fingers. It's all staticky. Dry weather. It's like my hair. After I brush it, I have to run some little bit of dabble do ya. A little bit of gel. Keep it from flying all over the place. One more comb full. last one. I don't plan to, right now I don't think I plan to put this with anything. Although it would be a good color to put with a multicolor braid. But I don't think I will. You know, along with this spun and done attitude, getting these little bits taken care of, there is the potential for a lot of mini skeins. Which I think is a good thing. Okay, I need to get a basket for my tools. I'll do that one more time. And that'll finish that up. And it'll be ready to spin. I swept in here. Was it yesterday? Might have been Friday morning. Can't remember. Now I have fiber on the floor again. Alright. I have got to get sitting back. My back's hurting. There we go. Okay, before I spin, let me go back to the table and figure this out. This is what I'm going to spin, and as you can see, there's a lot of colors. This is Rambouillet, so it's a merino-like fiber. It was part of the fiber exchange with, this was from the Fiber Mage. There's a lot of fiber here for 1 ounce. I decided not to put anything with it. I think a 2-ply would match up the colors. I can't stop yawning. I didn't sleep very good last night. It's only that one little bit of yellow, but there's orange that would go with it. It's my thought to somehow put the colors together. So I have more blocks. Wider blocks of color that will match up.
Wish they'd left more white in. So those kind of go together. I think she just dipped the end of the oh, this, I doubt this was done in 1 ounce skeins. But maybe it was and then stripped. I have a white merino I could spin, put with this. I'm almost tempted. I'm just so tired of the barber pole deal. But I keep doing it, so it's my fault. I think the color's out of sequence here. Weigh it like this. See if that splits it up equal. I know it's bizarre looking, but it might work. Yep. 0.48, 0.49. And 0.56. Not quite the same. What I have to figure out is I don't like that great big batch of white. I don't really have any choice though, because that's how much white there is. By the way, the name of this is called In the Sun He Melted. Oh, this is not good. This is popping apart on the staple length instead of drafting good. I think this is going to end up looking like a faux fractal. Just colors everywhere. Didn't start well. Shouldn't try to adjust the speed while I'm actually trying to spin. This is incredibly soft. But not my favorite to spin. It does not draft well. And that's nothing to do with what Fiber Mage did. It has everything to do with the base being a Rambouillet top. It just wants to spin and break apart at all the staple links. It wants to feed all the staple links in at once so you get thick and thin. That's a drafting of the prep itself. I mean, I buy this kind of prep all the time in merino and stuff because that's all there is, and it's at least better than spinning something home process, because it's even harder to home process. Okay, what am I doing here? I think I'm getting into this isn't working very well. It's not doing what I want it to do. It actually knotted on the end here.
Hi, Lady Pona.
That's fine. I'm not talking much. Enjoy the music. I hope you can enjoy the music. I am focused on a project here too, trying to make it work. Trying to combine these colors to spin them. But welcome. Okay, so this is working. I like it. I took
A longer section of the colors and over the,
split the braid into four, took the longer sections from that area. I still have the other sections over here on the table that I will combine into a different bobbin. But my point is, I like the way these colors went together. They bled into each other when they were being dyed, and that's part of why it kind of looks good, because they're kind of already blended. But the trick was I had divided the entire skein into big fourths, and then split off the colors, laid them out, and then I had all of the sections from the four. I drafted each one out, and I was going to spin them back to back, but I decided that to do what I really wanted to do, which was combine the colors as much as possible, I needed to lay all four of those together, and I laid them together when they were drafted, and tried to spin, and it wasn't working. What I had to do is then redraft some more of the four together to get this that I'm working with right now. That gave it some continuity to be able to spin the way I needed it to draft the way I needed it to draft in order to be able to spin it. So you can kind of see the fiber as it sits here on my lap.
there you go.
How it kind of looks like, somebody took colors in liquid form and sort of swirled them together. In a semi-solid medium. love the way it looks. Now I don't know what I want to ply it with because it's just gonna I almost think self-plying it back on itself might be better. But that's going to be a very tiny skein of yarn. Micro mini. I have 2 more skeins from the Fiber Mage that are dyed in similar fashion. One I will spin the way it is. It's True Christmas and it's just red, green, and white. Striping barber pole. I mean, that'll look holiday. That'll be fine. The other one has different color schemes than these. I'm not real sure. There's way more colors. Can't tell. There's just a whole bunch more colors in there. So I really should probably just spin the whole thing on a bobbin and ply it with something. I am sorry, folks. I've been yawning like crazy. I didn't sleep last night, so I am starting to need a nap. I am going to stop after I do this bobbin. I've got 2 little strips to end it with. Maybe the cat will crawl on my lap in my chair and we'll get a nap. falling apart here at the end. Well, I'm hoping everybody had a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Sunday. We usually got lots of folks stopping by. Everybody had something to do today. That's okay. Maybe they're finally all dug out from the snow like I got today and doing the much needed errands. I have no problem with that. I'm here doing this for me. I am doing the fiber work, talking about it, teaching a little bit, making yarn, getting it done. That's what it's all about. Living my dream life since I'm retired now. Absolutely living my dream life. I'd like to live someplace warmer. Not exactly my dream life, huh? Alright, this is the end here of what I'm going to put on this bobbin. What I have for the other bobbin is vivid white, vivid yellow, vivid orange, and vivid blue. All the muted tones are on this one. Unusual to get vivid and muted together in a dyeing of a skein, but if, you know, a lot of the vivid run into each other, you get the muted. You're working on a cosplay Ren Fair outfit. Oh,
And 20 yards. That is an awesome. I know. I mean, I understand completely what Ren Fair costumes are all about. And that's really cool. So, is there actually a Ren Fair? Or is this for somebody else and you're on the deadline for that? In our area, we would not be having them for several months yet because we still have winter weather. In other words, they wait for outdoor type weather. But we have several near me, and I go every now and then. I don't really do too much costume wise, not like people who are active participants. Put on my cap and my apron and long skirt and my favorite Ren story was the times we have gone and not dressed, gone as tourists. I had somebody come up in costume and say, "And what shire be those clothes from?" And I said, "Shire Walmart." You have a sci-fi con, okay, on the 18th, trying to get it done for yourself. Will you get judged? That's amazing. Hi, Mass Bandit. I'm fine and I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm going to be leaving here. Anyway, yeah, well, I was just talking to Lady Pona. I want to say Piona. Sorry, or Peony, like the flower, but it's Lady Pona. She's working on a Ren Fair. So how serious is the judging? Do you have to do hand stitching? I mean, is that part of it? If you would like to share, you are welcome to post your Discord, or there is mine if you'd like to share pictures at some point. I would love that. I would enjoy seeing what you do for your costume. I have seen how elaborate they can get sometimes. My hair is sticking up in the back. It's static weather. Yeah, Mass Bandit, I'm sorry. I'm just finishing up. And I've been here for 2 hours, so that's my limit. I don't go longer than that. I will be back Wednesday morning. I'm not going to be spinning Wednesday. I have decided Wednesday mornings are all the other crafts, right? So I hope to do some painting, and I'll have a cross stitch on perforated paper, Valentine's, I'm working on. So I'm going to be working on that on Wednesday. If you are able to stop in, I stream Eastern Standard Time, and it will be at 11 a.m. Meanwhile, everybody, have a great week. Stay safe, stay warm, and spring's coming. We're going to have a big celebration when it gets here, let me tell you. I am so done with winter. Take care, everybody. Happy spinning.